The K.C. Warlock Weekly, Book 1, Accused. Written by M.N. Jolley. Narrated by Nikola Hamilton. Dedication. To my sibling, you inspire me to be a better person. Chapter 1. Saturday, noon. All right, Levy. Let's take this again from the top. The burly counselor loomed over me, so close I could smell what he ate for breakfast. His face looked like it had been chiseled out of stone by an amateur mason, and his rippling muscles were visible even beneath the dense cotton robes of his uniform. He was a professional loomer. The wizard cop could have picked me up with one arm, and he made sure that I knew it. Even pretending that I wasn't cuffed to a metal table, and ignoring that he was wearing a tactical vest, decked out with a Glock 22, pepper spray, and a trio of brass wands, there was no question which of us would win if it came to blows. He could do whatever he wanted to me, and not a soul in the world could stop him. Nobody knew where I was, except myself, my thuggish companion, and his partner. And there was a rock in my shoe. I wanted to give the man my full attention. I really did. Though that was mostly just because I didn't want him to think that he wasn't being intimidating enough. If he thought that, he might try to up the ante with actual violence. I'd gone through more than my fair share of roughhousing in the past 24 hours, and I hadn't much enjoyed the experience. But as much as I wanted to appease him, it was hot and humid, and that little rock was driving me up the wall. "From the top?" I asked, wiggling my foot to try and move it around. "There's a few things I'm not clear on," the huge man said, his palms planted on the table. He leaned in, showing teeth. The expression wasn't a smile, though. It was more of a grimace. "So let's go through the story one more time." Under normal circumstances, I could have taken off my shoe and removed the hard lump, but my hands were cuffed down, and I didn't have the range of motion I'd need. "Yeah, whatever you want. How far back do you want me to go?" He moved in closer, and I heard his knuckles pop. "Why do I feel like you're not taking this very seriously?" Oops, he noticed. I leaned back, trying to put enough space between us so that I wouldn't be able to smell the cheap coffee he'd been drinking all morning. "I'm taking this seriously," I said, trying to placate him. "It's just hot." Apparently, he didn't want to be placated. Eyes narrowing, he put his face even closer to mine. He was just inches away. I expected to feel body heat, but instead I got a little waft of cool air. "Do you have any idea how much shit you're in?" I stared back, my eyes focusing at a point on his forehead. "Why are you cold?" He blinked. I'd asked a question that he hadn't anticipated, and the gears in his head ground to a stop as he tried to catch up with my train of thought. If he'd had a little more time, he probably would have decided that being aggressive was the appropriate response. But he was interrupted by a hand on his shoulder. "Davis." The voice was soft, calming. His partner had been leaning in the corner, watching from a few paces back. I guess after all the intimidation, she must have decided it was finally time to intervene. She was as tall as Davis and as athletic, though she was built for endurance more than raw strength. Even their haircuts matched, both trimmed to a short, practical length that wouldn't get in the way. "Let's take a little break." The space around us fell deathly silent, save for a slight scratching noise
Sample complete. Ready to continue?